Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days and 5 minutes, and we're headed for the 60s. And by the time we get into Thursday and Friday, we've been in a bit of a recovery day today as temperatures make their way up into the upper 50s and low 60s for afternoon highs. Should be a pretty good day, and even warmer weather as you go south and west. Weather in 5 is brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware. They're getting ready for winter, so hopefully you're getting ready for winter as well with the Long Island's largest rock salt provider and also a provider of all your winter storm supplies to get through the winter weather that will be coming, well, before you know it. So 631-756-1125 for the best prices in town. They're in West Babylon, New York on Wellwood Avenue, and the website is omnitruevalue.com. Let's look at the satellite view, which really is pretty quiet across most of the country. We've got a little bit of cloud cover up in northern New England, some activity in the Pacific Northwest, and a little bit of cloudiness moving through parts of the southern plains. Other than that, it really is a pretty decent day. Clouds are streaming in from the east over Florida, and of course, if you look further south, you see all the moisture, and there's quite a bit of moisture indeed when it comes to Tropical Storm Eta, which is now inland. We're going to focus on that in just a moment. In the meantime, as we take a look at the view of the satellite loop from Canada, everything across southern Canada is moving from west to east, and that means that any cold air that's up to the north stays up to the north, and you see that arc of the base of these clouds here from the Pacific Northwest into south central Canada and into the northeast. That is basically the beginnings of this upper ridge that is building and going to be pushing the jet stream even further north into Canada. And while we're in this position, it means that we are going to be mostly dry right through the weekend and into the start of next week. Now, toward the end of the 7-day period, which takes us into Wednesday, we start to see rain getting closer. But until then, we don't see any rain here in the forecast, at least through Monday, certainly, and probably through Tuesday. And also notice the buildup of rains for central and south Florida of a rather large magnitude. We're talking about rainfall amounts approaching 5 to 10 inches in some places, and even higher than that in southernmost Florida. And this is going to be Tropical Storm Eta that will be, I think, will be moving northward and eventually winding up into the Florida Straits over the weekend. And that's going to bring some risk to the state of Florida, and rain is going to be a very big deal here. So it's a straightforward outlook. There really isn't a whole lot to watch other than the fact that we're going to have high pressure offshore, and it goes out in a pretty decent spot. My one concern through all of this time of year, and we saw that through the last couple of weeks of October, you get into that stagnant high with the flow coming in off the ocean, and that produces a marine layer. But it doesn't look like the onshore flow is all that strong here. We've got a west-southwest flow that is covering much of the northeast, and that's a good thing because that'll keep the ocean at bay. Maybe we'll start to get to a point where at nighttime and early morning hours we'll start to see perhaps some ocean low clouds and fog near the coastal areas, but I think that'll be mainly on the thin side. So as soon as the sun comes up, it should be able to burn right through it. And then running through the brand new GFS that is just coming out now, the high actually builds back westward into the mid-Atlantic states, and that keeps us in more of a west wind. So I think we're going to be great here through Sunday. We'll probably start to see temperatures, I'm thinking 60s for tomorrow, and then upper 60s and low 70s for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Looks like a good bet. Who knows? Might even get a little bit higher than that in some places from northeast Virginia to southern New England. Meanwhile, take a look down to the south. You see Eta on the model into the Bahamas on the latest run and over South Florida. The GFS has this really as maybe a high-end tropical storm. The European model and a few of the others trying to be a little bit more intense with this, maybe getting back up to minimal hurricane. It's a little hard to say how this is all going to play out at this point, but it does look like there is going to be rain coming into the picture, and this tropical for Florida anyway, and this tropical storm coming in to South Florida. And then after that, again, what happens afterwards, not sure. You'll notice by Tuesday, we have a frontal system that's beginning to set up with low pressure coming out of the southern plains. And that'll probably go up to our west. But eventually, I think we will have to bring a cold front through here. And that happens probably sometime around the middle part of next week. So bottom line is we got great weather here in the northeast and northern mid-Atlantic states pretty much until further notice. Eta is inland. The circulation remains intact, and they're getting just clobbered with 1 foot plus rains throughout much of Central America. But more impressive here is the amount of moisture that we're seeing throughout the northwestern Caribbean and down even onto the Pacific side. This is part of a large gyre that we've been talking about in the upper atmosphere, and that moisture is loaded. So if this system does not develop, and I don't think it'll get to anything like what it was when it made its final approach into Nicaragua as a Category 4, but certainly the moisture is going to be a big deal as it moves on northward. And you see the Hurricane Center's forecast track as at the last advisory time, which was 9 a.m. Central Time, 13/9/85/2, top winds 50 miles an hour. It'll weaken to a depression later today and into this evening. And then by Friday morning, it'll be emerging into the northwest Caribbean, where the Hurricane Center strengthens this back to a tropical storm and then takes it northeast into western Cuba and then northward into the Florida Straits, with the position somewhere near Key West on their forecast sometime early Monday morning. So just bear that in mind if you are headed down into Central and South Florida in the coming days and going into the weekend. And of course, we will have more on this tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show at 7:30 Eastern Time on my YouTube channel. So be sure to tune in